Listen to this and stick around for a moment. All right, I'm going to stop it there for now, but we will listen to the whole thing. I am not a musician, I should mention. I have, in fact, wrote one song ever, full. I've got probably hundreds of riffs. But it's not just that I'm not a musician. I'm not a music producer. I downloaded this program yesterday. I've never used a DAW before, and I taught myself everything that you see here. In fact, I even hit a button somewhere on the screen that popped this whole thing up here, and I have no idea how to get rid of it. I'll figure that out later. But this video is about inspiration in a way that's slightly different from the Bionicle stuff. And I know the video is going to suffer some because it's not a Bionicle video. I really did think about sort of segueing from Bionicle into music because of the sort of similar topic I wanted to talk about. This was what I was going to start the video with, mind you, so I'm still teasing it, but this will be its own separate video, and that's bright green. My camera just sucks with green. Point being, though, the reason the video is about this instead is because not just that I'm self-taught here, but I'm self-taught here too. I taught myself guitar back in 2010 or so. There was a girl in high school I wanted to impress, right? And obviously that didn't stick around, but the guitar did. And while I would not consider myself like a professional guitarist, I'm adequate. I can do what I need to do. I can't tell you all the chords. I can't play scales or whatever. That doesn't matter to me. I don't need it. What I do want to talk about, though, is not just inspiration, but it's through a very specific perspective. This isn't a tutorial because I am not the right person to teach you any of this stuff. But I am hoping that at the very least this inspires you to start doing something, whatever it is that speaks to you in the moment. Because not only is this program new to me, the song is also new. I had a riff pop up in my head on my birthday late that night, which, as you may or may not know, was 2 days ago at this point. And the riff, fairly simple. I'm going to show it to you now because I have the guitar on me, but you're going to hear effects on my voice for a minute. Ignore that. That's so that my microphone will pick this up. So, the actual chords. Right, dead simple. The hook there, that double tap on that is lovely for what it's worth. And it's actually why I think the song just has that quality to it that I love. And here's the thing too, it's not just that in a lot of ways I feel like I'm a vessel for this song specifically, because I almost feel like I didn't write it necessarily. It sort of came to me, and I don't want to say fully formed, because when you look at something like this, no, I did not have 39 tracks pop into my head at once, but I had a general sound that I wanted outside of the genre of music I normally write in. I would assume that this is most closely like a folk kind of sound. I could be wrong. I'm terrible at identifying that stuff. But generally speaking, even though it's sort of something I'm not proficient at or even really experienced with, it is something I'm able to do. You know what I mean? It sounds good. It feels right. There are aspects of this that absolutely need change too. And I, as the person mastering it, could probably spend the rest of my life trying to make every specific piece of music perfect. But that's not what you should do, at least not in my opinion. Here's the thing. When it comes to doing anything, production, elsewise, the process kind of ebbs and flows. And what I mean by that is that when you start from nothing and then go somewhere, you kind of peak high the first time because you started from nothing. Your reference point was zero. You touch that guitar for the first time, you pick up whatever it is that speaks to you the first time, you play it, you get used to it, you kind of get familiar with it, comfortable with it or whatever. Even if you're not terribly good, you're miles ahead of where you were because you were at nothing at all. You've taken the first step at this point. You've completed 100% of your journey so far at this point, right? But there comes this time sort of in the middle where things sort of crest. And this is absolutely true for me. For me, it was years, too. Not years of constant playing either. Like I said, I feel like I'm adequate as a guitar player, but I don't think I'm bad, and I don't think I'm terribly great at it. There are many people who are better than me, and that's perfectly fine. I don't want to be anything than what I am. Rather, what I think is important about this is that middle ground, it feels like you have nowhere to go because you have no frame of reference on where to go. But if you look at it like this too, when it comes to proficiency, say you've put out your first album, song, something is a hit. Okay. So a lot of doors open up for you at that point. It doesn't mean that momentum is going to stay. Absolutely not. But it can mean there are people who want to collaborate with you, maybe records that want to, or labels, I guess, that want to produce your song or your record or whatever the case may be. And more power to you, take advantage of that stuff as it comes. But ultimately, what I think is interesting is that when those doors open up, that crest starts to get higher again because everything is at your disposal, right? When you've got all these people clamoring to collaborate with you, to ride whatever train you might be on, or to work with you because maybe they like your voicing, your music, your sound, your style, whatever it may be. That's a lot of doors for you specifically opened in front of your eyes. And why I think that's a good thing, but it can also be limiting, is because while everything is right there at your disposal, you have no limits, you can also kind of get lost in it too. You know what I mean? I think that there's a general humanity to a lack of resources in this sense. What I did here, what you saw, 39 tracks, was recorded all on this guitar, which is a Squier Strat that I picked up out of a trash can, no joke, 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. Literally drove by, saw the neck sticking out, and was like, all right, that's mine now. It's coming home with me. But also, you're hearing things like this, rice in a mason jar, or you're hearing, flipped over plastic tub with the broken headphone cup, just hitting it because I don't have drums, it's what I've got. I do have a MIDI board here. I just don't have a cord to turn it on or anything. So eventually I'll get to use that. But right now, not because it's an uncommon chord. I just don't happen to have one and I haven't bothered. Point being though, right now I'm in that necessity point, right? What I mean by that is that because there's so little at my disposal, a lot of what I have to do to achieve the sound that's up here is through improvisation. And there's a lot that comes from that, not just the awe of, oh, somebody created something out of nothing. That's really cool. But actually, even as the creator, when you are creating your first piece, when you're improvising, when you are trying to make do with what's in front of you there, you can actually discover things you didn't intend to, or that you otherwise wouldn't, right? If you go to a place that has a record or that has a recording booth, or they have all the instruments already tuned for you and set out waiting for you to arrive, whatever the case may be, you can lose a lot of that experimentation, that improvisation because of that, which is why I think some of the best music, at least that I've heard, often comes from, that's a subjective opinion too, by the way, but often comes from that lack, right? You hear about the person that my favorite band is Led Zeppelin. So the story I always heard was with Led Zeppelin 4 or whatever, where they just basically go out to a specific recording location, some house or cabin or whatever the hell it was, lodge, range, whatever, and just take what they can fit in their van or whatever the hell they drove and just stay there for a couple weeks and record and write and record, and you get the ambience from the place. You make do with what you got. If you don't have something that works, you take electrical tape and fix the wire on your amp or whatever. You do what you can to get by, to make do with what you've got, and there's a lot of beauty to that, and that's really what you get by having nothing. When you have nothing, you have to make do with what you've got. When you have everything, you can make do with whatever is accessible. You could take shortcuts, and oftentimes those shortcuts can lead to a loss of humanity, a loss of character. Not always, of course. There are always people who have been able to maintain greatness throughout their career, whatever that may mean, and everybody evolves. Point being. All right. So, overall, the video here is about inspiration in the sense that while, yes, I understand that not everybody is going to be able to pick up a program like this in a day or whatever, although thankfully this has been fairly intuitive for me. A lot of what you see here, color coded, is just for my own ease. So the orange is guitar, the blue is percussion, the purple is choir sort of section. Do we even listen to the whole thing? I guess we're going to do that now too. I don't know. And then the green section is the actual lyrics. So let's go ahead and listen to it. And if we did listen to the whole thing, I guess it's just more watch time. Anyway, let's go. I'm very happy with it for what it's worth. But yeah, there's obviously a lot here that I think needs improving. Again, I don't strive for perfection in a song like this, and I shouldn't. You'd spend eternity doing so. But, you know, there are obvious things like, oh, where's the width of the drums? Why is there not more presence on the drums? Which I absolutely do want for something like this. It can be simple, of course. Or maybe a clearer, concise vocal. I like something, even though I like the dissonant sound of the layered vocals that are there. There's 7 vocal tracks going at the same time. I think 5 are like, or no, I think it's 4 are of the same octave, 2 are of an octave higher, then 1's an octave lower. It doesn't matter. But you get the general idea, right? So there are reasons for everything that you're seeing on screen here to achieve a very specific sound. That's up here. I do know what the full song is going to sound like up here. But overall, the concept of starting, no matter what genre, no matter if it's even music at all, oftentimes the most daunting thing that we do is feel like trying to learn a new thing, like this DAW here, or like music, guitar, writing, music, whatever it is you're trying to learn. Oftentimes it can feel like a wager in your head. Is it worth spending the time learning this new thing, or could that time be better spent doing something else? Maybe something I'm good at, maybe something I picked up last week and put down. Maybe I should, whatever. Ultimately, I think you do what best speaks to you. I think you are oftentimes the vessel of your own creativity, and many of the things you may create may emanate from a place that's not here. I don't know how else to describe it. I know that sounds philosophical, spiritual. That's not what I mean. I just mean generally, you may not even have it fully formed up here, but you kind of get yourself sat in front of Bionicle pieces or Lego pieces or whatever. You start building and something comes out of it and you're like, well, damn, I didn't expect this, but it's nice. And yeah, so anyway, I could go on forever. That's going to be the video. If you guys did enjoy the video, I, of course, appreciate subscribing. It really helps the channel out tremendously. And, of course, as always, you can check out the links for Discord, Instagram, and Patreon, all of which are in the description below. This will probably be posted on Discord. Depends. If I do write a full song, like I might do like SoundCloud or something, figure out how I figure out any of that stuff. I have no idea. Anyway, I'm new to this. Bye.